Today, we're going to learn about what data-driven testing is and how to do it in Postman. But simply learning about it would be boring, so I will show you a practical example where I hack the password of my own account. Yes, you did hear it correctly. Hacking time using data. I have this app that runs on my local host. Let's create an account. Let's try to log in. If I type my username here and then the password. Oh no! I forgot my password. What do I do now? Let's still try to log in using something random as a password. Maybe 1234. Okay, it doesn't let me in. Let's do that again, but now we will look at the network tab of the browser. So if I make a request, you can see that I had a 401. If you look here, you can see that I've sent test as a password, and this was obviously not my password, so that's why it's complaining. This brings us to the definition of data-driven testing. It's when your test as a thing stays the same, but the data, the input for the test, becomes a variable. The goal here is to see if the system will behave differently on different inputs. In our scenario, if we recreate this request to be calling login endpoint, and we will make password a variable, then we will have a login data-driven test. Steps that I want to do now. First, recreate this API call in Postman. Second, find source of data, source of passwords. Then I want to parameterize my test, and then I want to hack my account. Recreating this API call in Postman is pretty simple. I just need to right click here, copy value, copy as curl or CURL. Then in Postman, I need to click this import button, raw text, paste here, continue, continue. And you can see that I've recreated exactly the test that we had before. Even if I send it right now, it's going to give me 401. Now let's do step 2 and find source of data. If you watched any other videos, you probably think right now, he's going to Google. And of course, you are right. Let's search for top 1000 passwords. And what do we have here? I like this GitHub link. Let's have a look. So it says top 1000 and it's 1000 lines long. It looks exactly like what I want. So I'm just going to download this file locally and save it as TXT file. Now we can go to the next stage, parameterization. If you never worked with Postman before, this probably is the hardest part of the video, but I will try to make it as simple as possible for you. Step 1 is to create a collection. I'm going to call it hack Ivan's password. You see this collection is empty, so I need to save my request into that collection. Now, if we go back to the collection, we can create a test run. If you click on the run button, this is where you add your file with the passwords. Now let's select our file. So everything looks to be in order. I have iteration number and the password for this iteration. This number over here means that we have 1000 iterations, which means we have 1000 lines in this file. So if I click this blue button right now, this test will be executed 1000 times, but there is actually no variations. The test itself doesn't use any data from this text file. So we need to fix it. First, we want to make our password to be environment variable. Second, we want to use it as a parameter in the test. And third, we want to do some assertions. These are not required, it's just a cherry on the cake that will allow us to easier see the results. To make password a variable, I'm going to use the double curly braces syntax. So I'm going to add my test to be wrapped in these double curly braces. So in this case, if I have the environment variable called test, my password value will come from this variable. If I rerun my test, it will not work because I don't have such variable right now set. So I need to set it in the pre-request script. If you are not sure about the syntax, always look at the right. It gives you a lot of samples with the common task. So for example, here I have set an environment variable and this looks like exactly what I need. I am setting the variable, but how would I get the variable from this iteration? And this might be overwhelming, but Postman also have autocomplete. So if you type PM, which is shortcut for Postman, you say dot, and then you look at what's inside, you can see that environment, iteration data, right? That's exactly what we need. And I say dot, maybe get. Yes, I have get. And so I'll get the iteration data called password, because that's how we named our column in our text file. Now I just need to take that, put it here as my value, And I also need to change the variable name because I want to call it password. So I'm going to set the password environment variable, and the value I'm going to take from password column in the file. And here I'm going to use password. Now I go back to my test runner and I run it again. 1000 requests later. Let's scroll through the results. You can see that we have a whole bunch of for ones. Did you see it? Did you see it? One request was 200. Okay, it must be my password. But this scrolling is painful. I had 1000 requests. I could have easily missed it. So let's do cherry on a cake and add a test assertion to easily spot it. Go back to my collection, test tab. Always look at the right for inspiration. Status code. Code is 200. This looks exactly like what I need. Save it. Go back here. Run new. I will decrease this number to 50 because I knew that it was request number 42. So I want just everything to be faster, and I'm gonna run. Now you can see that 49 tests failed and 1 test have passed. Let's look inside. If I click here, I see request body, and this was my password. Thank you, Google, for giving me list of passwords. Thank you, Postman, for giving me data-driven testing capabilities. Let's try to log in. And it was a success, yes! And now you learned how to use data and create Postman collection runs to spot unexpected behavior of your API endpoints. You know what to do if you like this video? Seriously, click it. Not sure what to watch next? Watch this video, it is also interesting. See you next time.